of applause to warm up. But the fact is, although you might be cold, and it's cold today, this issue is hotting up. We're getting people, more and more people, up and down the country taking action on this. This morning, I was on the bus talking to a guy who wasn't very political, but he said, I've heard of this fracking, what is it? And I said it means the industrialisation of large parts of our countryside. And he said, that sounds pretty bad. And then I said, it means lorries, huge lorries, rumbling all over the countryside, heaps and heaps of them. And he said, oh, I don't want that. And then I talked about the pollution, the radioactivity, the chemicals. And he said, yeah, well, I definitely don't want any of that. And that's the fact. The people, when they learn the facts of this about fracking, they're on our side. And we have to get more of them out there and tell more and more about this. And you know what's really crazy about this? We all know we don't need fracking. We can use renewable energy, wind and solar and tidal, and we can use energy conservation to provide everything that we need. And when we do that, we have nice, warm, comfortable homes. Would you like nice, warm, comfortable homes?
Yes!
And we can have jobs, lots of jobs. Would you like jobs?
Yes!
And we can do a lot to fix our economy. Do you want to fix our economy?
Yes!
Now, there's lots of people out there in fuel poverty. They don't have to be. We can solve those problems. Yet all of those things that we know we can do, they're not in the energy bill. As John said, over there, they're considering an energy bill that's got nothing about energy conservation and that provides sneaky ways to actually fund nuclear power. The fact is, we don't have to. We've all got lots of arguments about why nuclear is bad in terms of safety, in terms of storage of fuel. But actually, we can even go and find lots of allies who'll never back us on that. There's a group called the Supporters of Nuclear Energy. You know what? They wrote to David Cameron and said, don't do nuclear because it's too expensive. The fact is, economic arguments are on our side, environmental arguments are on our side. We know that sense is on our side. The fact is that people are on our side when they understand the facts. What we've got to do is get them over there on our side. My Twitter feed today has been full of action. There's not a lot of us left here now, but up and down the country, not just the people here, but up and down the country, there's been actions to say that we have to tackle climate change, we have to stop fracking, we have to ensure we have renewables and energy conservation. So you're here, around the country there's people, we together can get this to happen. We can point the energy bill in the right direction and change the direction of the country. So let's go and do it right now. Thank you.
The
UK!
No fracking way!
Fracking in the UK!
No fracking way!
Fracking in the UK!
No fracking way!
No dash for gas!
No dash for gas!
No dash for gas! No dash for gas! Fracking in the UK!
No fracking way!
I said fracking in the UK!
No fracking way!
I said fracking in the UK!
No fracking way!
I can't hear you! Fracking in the UK!
No fracking way!
I said that! You start off! Frack!
Off!
Frack!
Off!
Frack!
Off!
Frack!
Off!
Frack!
Off!
Frack! I can't hear you! Frack! I don't think they can hear you! Frack! 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 No dash for gas!
No dash for gas!
No dash for gas!
No dash for gas!
No dash for gas! No dash for gas! No dash for gas! No dash for gas!
The effects of climate change, and now we're seeing them. The ice is melting, we have extremes of climate and flooding in our own country. And we warned them also, if you privatise energy, they will form cartels and they'll rip us off. And we're experiencing all of that now, And we hope with this energy bill we would see at least some acknowledgement of their failures, and that they would then address our main concerns about climate change and the need to develop renewable energy. And what have we seen this week? An energy bill that, instead of placing the onus upon the private companies to pay for renewable energy development, is going to be placed upon ordinary people, most of whom are now struggling to pay their heating bills. And at the same time, the energy companies in their cartel are ripping us off on a daily basis. We've seen climate change targets virtually ignored in planning decision after every planning decision, and now in my own constituency they're coming back again for a third runway and now possibly a fourth runway. And this carbon embrace will go on for the next 2 generations at least if they get away with the introduction of fracking. So what's our response? We need to explain very clearly. What fracking means is undermining the very land upon which we walk. It's polluting our waters, and it's creating emissions for the transport system still heavily dependent on carbon. With fracking, they'll commit us to a carbon economy for generations to come. So what's our response? Yes, in Parliament, we'll seek to oppose them. But let me be straight with you. There's very few MPs at the moment who will oppose this energy bill and oppose the development of fracking. So what we've got to say to individual MPs, if you frack our community, we'll sack you. Fracking will mean sacking for individual MPs. Let's eyeball them constituency by constituency. So when the next election comes, we've got to make this a central issue. You've seen in the newspapers this morning the release from Greenpeace. They're looking at 60% of our land as possible targeting for fracking. That will undermine community after community. This has got to be a key political issue. The next 2 years up until the general election. And let me just say this as well. I'm an MP, so I don't trust them in Parliament. I mix with them. I see them every day. I know the courtship that there is with big business and industry and the lobbying that goes on. So yes, let's make it a political issue in the next general election and then the run up to that. But the reality is that we'll only defeat them as a community mobilised. And that means direct action again. That means climate camp reinvigorated. That means every time there's a planning application for fracking, we oppose it not as isolated communities, but as a whole community, a whole population, using whatever mechanisms we can in law, in politics, but also in direct action. We're mobilising again. The responsibility is on all our shoulders, not to allow any individual community to be picked off by fracking, but for us to stand together in solidarity with one another to save each community, but also to save our planet. Solidarity.
Yeah!